Hi, this is Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, how to discover your midlife entrepreneurial mojo. And my guest today is the founder of the Miraculous Living Institute and RQ Consultants. With over 30 years of experience, you won't believe that when you see her, as a relationship and transformational results expert, a speaker, management and organizational development consultant, she's a corporate influencer, a seminar facilitator, a master healer, and a coach. She has created a unique and innovative system, the Miraculous Living Method, that allows you to get to the results you want with greater ease and speed. She works with all aspects and facets of relationships, business owners and executives, as well as their teams, to strengthen the team for greater productivity and profits. I'm going to stop there. There's so much more that I could tell you about her, but I want you to meet her. So without further ado, welcome to Wendy Darling. Hello, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, Pat. Great to be with you.
There's just so much I could say about you, but I just want to hear it from you. So tell us a bit about your early career. Did you go straight into being an entrepreneur or did you start out differently?
I started out differently. Education was really a very high value in my family. So I got my undergraduate degree. I spent 1 year as a sixth grade teacher. I then went back to college, got 2 graduate degrees. And my first job out of graduate school was as Dean of Students for semester at sea. Mm-hmm. And for those that may not be familiar, I was their mom. We had a little over 700 students. We lived on a ship and we sailed on around the world. And I could say so much more. But then when I got back, Dean of Students at that time was my long-term goal. And I had already achieved that. And it's when training and development and corporate consulting was in infancy. And I had choices, but I ultimately accepted a position with the state of Missouri, working under the governor's office. And we were the consulting and training and development arm for all 15 departments. So it was an extraordinary laboratory to allow me to really learn and grow. And then in 1981, I actually started my own business. My dad was a business owner, an entrepreneur, so I think I had a bit of the bug from him. And I started my own business consulting part-time for the first couple of years and then moved into full-time and started working a lot, traveling all over the country. I wasn't international yet. And my life took a dramatic turn in I think it was 1990.
Okay, so let's just warn people, okay? Spoiler alert, hang on to your hats now, okay.
So I had really not been taking all that good a care of myself. I had been traveling I was under contract for a Fortune 100 company at that time. And I was leaving Texas, flying to LA, and I was sick as a dog. And so while I was at the airport, I went outside to just get some fresh air. In those days, I would probably be considered a workaholic. Yeah. So fulfilling my agreement to this company overrode my better judgment. And as I was outside, I ended up passing out. I fell over a ledge. And the next thing I knew, the hospital. And I was just getting tiny little flashes of what happened. And as I mentioned, I fell over a ledge, and it turns out I fell over 25 feet. And I shattered my leg, I broke my back. I was later diagnosed with a brain injury. And if that was not enough, around week 4, my former husband came, suitcases packed, wishing no longer to be married. And in all fairness, I take 100% responsibility for my portion of that decision, although the timing was pretty rotten. And then if that was not enough, when we went to court, he was awarded full custody of our son, who was only 4 at that time. And that's really when I broke into a whole lot of pieces. Now it's all worked out well. Obviously, we're talking today. But in those early days, weeks, and months, probably even years, but in those early weeks, I was in this inquiry of what choices had I made that got me into this predicament? And of course, what was going to need to be different to dig out of this hole? And that was my prayer back then. It was like, help me figure this out. And I remember praying to God and just saying, and by the way, if we could just find an easier, faster way to help me dig out of this hole, I promise I will pay it forward. And so the good news is I got my wish. And in the early stages of my recovery, I began to receive what I now refer to as my healing gifts, my transformational processes. And I must say, Pat, I was not that girl prior to my accident. I was a very traditional business person, but it has taught me so much about the myths of being an entrepreneur, of being a business owner, of being in business, because too often we are driven by what we think are the shoulds, and I was masterful at that, and not putting our oxygen mask on first, really looking at what matters most, and the gifts that I've been given. I help make that so much easier and faster.
Yeah, I sometimes say that if you don't listen to the universe, sometimes it gives you a little nudge and sometimes it gives you a little bit of a slap. And then if you're not listening...
I think we can draw an accurate conclusion that I clearly was not listening.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get over that and to literally get back on your feet?
Years.
Yeah.
I was, quote, functioning, but not well.
Yeah.
The brain injury really took time because it was not diagnosed in the early months. I had so much physical trauma, and quite honestly, this was 1990, so there wasn't as much awareness about brain injuries, although it opened up a whole new world for me, not just with my healing gifts and transformational processes, but really learning how our minds either can be our best friends or not so much. And so it really took, and it's a journey. I've been in business now for over 37 years, which is a little sobering because I just feel like in so many ways I'm just getting started. But we're never done. We learn certain things, we accomplish certain things, and then it's like, oh, there's so much more waiting for us. And the other thing too, I don't want to give the wrong impression, because there were days, probably weeks, I never added up all the time, where I didn't want to get out of bed, where I wanted to just pull the covers over my head. And there were times I did. And quite honestly, some of those times were really productive to take time out and allow myself to get realigned again. And I do that today. And just so you know, even though I've been doing this for a long time, there are still days I'm going, oh. It's the road to success is, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure for most of us, is not this. No. I have not met anybody that's had a straight line trajectory. It's more like this, and and but there are gifts to it. I can't remember who I was just listening to recently or read an article. It may have been Jeff Bezos with Amazon. And one of the things that I loved about what he said is when he hires people, he doesn't necessarily want to find people that are just perfect. He wants to have people around him that have failed and how they've been resilient in the failure, because we fail our way to success. You know, it's not now, not everybody has to have an event like I had,
Yeah.
but the reality is when we hit, you know, against a little something that's different or a challenge shows up, it's like, oh, how do I need, it's like a Rubik's Cube. How do I need to adjust a little bit? And a lot of times it's not a big adjustment. It's just a little shift. And wow, what a difference that can make.
That's why I love these conversations, because everybody's story is so different, but the challenges are absolutely enormous. I always sit here going, wow, because sometimes I know a bit of the story, but I don't know all of it. And other times I think, oh, wait till we get to this part. They're going to be blown away by this part of it. So what stage did you write your book?
Oh, you know, it's interesting. There was just a post this morning. Well, first of all, I started probably 4 or 5 books,
Right.
but only got X number of chapters written, and then it would be in the archives. And 4 years ago, now a little over 4 years ago, I worked with a friend of mine who is a publisher, but she also has this awesome process that pulls out the information. And so my book was published November 4 years ago, so in 2014.
Fantastic.
And there are more to come.
Yay. Well, we will make sure we put a link to it when we get to the end of this interview. So this is Pat Duckworth, and I'm talking to Wendy Darling. And Wendy, tell us what your purpose in life is now. What really motivates you?
I honestly feel my purpose is assisting others in fulfilling their purpose. Yeah. I think it's just so important to get back to, if you're not there, what matters to you most. I feel my challenge certainly woke me up, because a lot of times it's our challenges that really get us more in our purpose. And I think that that's my purpose. And in a way where people are living happy, high quality, and fulfilling lives. So I want you to be living your purpose, but I also feel like I get to assist you to turn your dreams into reality.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so you work with a variety of people. Do you have an ideal client that you work with?
Yes, people that want results. You know, that they don't have to be starving, but they're hungry. So the results could be different. My corporate clients obviously want certain results, so I work with executives and their teams. My private clients may come to me for a variety of reasons. They may want to grow their business. They may want to attract love. They may want to improve their health. I've worked with children with challenges. So I've been really blessed in that realm. And then I now have a certification program for coaches and practitioners, teaching them how to utilize my methodology so that they and their clients can get easier, faster results.
Fantastic. So what does success mean to you now after all of these life events? What's success?
I think we're going to just bottom line it, that I'm upright, I'm breathing, my heart is working. And there are days that that's how I would define success. Yeah. I think what I discovered many years ago was I was chasing the wrong thing. Mm. I was a bit seduced by the money and the outer success of life. And I don't want to diminish that. We all need money. We all want to be able to provide some sort of contribution in your own unique way. Mm. However, today, I start with my purpose, you know, what matters to me most. First of all, my biggest lesson was almost every morning, I have a morning practice and I take care of me first. Yeah. And I have my schedule arranged, so most of the time I'm able to do that. Secondly, it's really just, making a difference. When I see a client suddenly attracting love or releasing weight or making 2 or 3 times more money or whatever it may be, or seeing a team feeling confident in working better together, being more open with ideas or even concerns. Those are successes. When I was younger, I measured success way up here. Today, I celebrate, some days it's like, oh my gosh, I just wrote that proposal. I picked up the phone. Those are successes. And I think that was something I recognized the gap many years ago of what I was really valuing, that would have me feel successful or not.
Yeah.
And this is a much kinder way. And what I also love is it's a gentler approach. And quite honestly, even though I'm much more relaxed today, I do things differently, I'm actually more productive than I was back then, working way more and harder.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Every morning when I wake up, I think you get to a certain age where this becomes important. When I open my eyes and I see the sunshine, I go, thank you for another day.
Yeah. I have a really good friend. His name is Adam Markell, and we actually do some work together in the corporate space. And he has coined a phrase, I love my life.
Yeah.
And, not to get into his story, but that's how he starts his day. And I've incorporated that. Now, some days it does start with a hint of sarcasm. And then I move into more, I really do love my life. I'm blessed.
Well, you live in a beautiful place. So, yeah, I was very lucky to visit you and stay with you this year. So thank you for that.
We'll have to figure out another rendezvous.
Oh, wouldn't that be fantastic? So, what tips then? I'm almost prescient about what this tip might be for new entrepreneurs. I think it's going to be something about taking care of yourself, but feel free, whatever you were going to say.
Yeah, I think, well, even to preface that with what matters to you most.
Yeah.
I have a new philosophy. Well, it's not so new anymore, but I have a newer philosophy of live, love, and lead. And it came out of this journey that I had. So live is really identifying what matters to you most, your highest values, what matters to you in life. It is putting my oxygen mask on first, taking care of myself, making sure I'm nourishing the relationships that matter to me most in my life as well. And that lends itself to love. We really have to find ways to allow ourselves to be loved, to be valued, to be supported, whether it's in your personal life or your business life. Because I believe when we allow for that, we're deeply nourished. And then we can go fight the dragons. I mean, I can't believe I just said that. But then when you're filled up, you can really go out and lead in your own unique way and make that contribution. And then you just keep rinsing and repeating.
Yeah.
But we have to learn and be better to open up to receive. In fact, almost every client that I work with, that's one area that has to be adjusted. I happen to have an easy way to do that, but it's always, it hasn't been, there's never been anybody that hasn't been the case.
I was very open to receiving one of your beautiful cards. We could talk about those, but we're not going to have time now. But during the event that we were at, I had one of your lovely cards, and we chose them at random, and I got fairy godmother wisdom. I was so happy with it, and it is now the wallpaper on my phone because I just love it so much. So I was
that makes me so happy.
Oh,
yeah, those were parts of my downloads that have frequency to them that helps to nourish you and clear out anything that is interfering. Yeah, that's one aspect.
It's
of
just
the miraculous
beautiful.
living method.
I love it. So the viewers watching, if they want to find out more about you, Wendy, how do they do that?
It's so easy. You can go to my website, wendydarling.com, and my email is Wendy, WENDY, at wendydarling.com.
Fantastic. And tell us again the name of your book.
The Miracle That Is Your Life.
And I think I can guess where that title came from. And it is a miracle. Every day we wake up. The coach Michael Neal, I remember going to a talk that he gave, and he said, I'm just going to show you a miracle. And everybody's like, wow. And he said, just close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath in and breathe it out. That was a miracle. And you go, yeah, it was. It was a miracle. Every day we're doing that. It's a bit of a miracle. Thank you so much for sharing some of your story with us, Wendy. There's so much else we could talk about. So if you've been inspired, go and have a look at Wendy's website. Thank you again. And to all of our viewers, keep watching out for more of these wonderful conversations with amazing entrepreneurs. There's always so much we can learn from them. See you next time.